Welcome back, guys, to the Competitiveness podcast. Today I have a fantastic guest who we've not really known each other that long, have we, Sean?
No, not too long.
But it seems like we've known each other a lot longer.
Yeah, a lot in common.
Yeah, a lot in common for sure. So one of the reasons I firstly wanted to welcome you to the podcast today, Sean, and bring Sean on is Sean, like myself, has got a really, really powerful story, similar background, I think, in your initial personal aspirations to be a footballer, which I want to unpack for sure. I'm sure that's played a significant role in so many ways. He's also a co-owner of a fantastic business and gym in the fitness world, and they do lots of accessories and sports equipment, which is KO8, and father, partner, and for those of you who are HYROX fans or compete in HYROX, you are listening to a man today who has been a champion multiple times in
Dubai. Yeah, to be honest, again, we something to unpack, but I'm relatively new to HYROX.
Yeah.
But I've had some good success to first place.
Basically,
down to two.
Basically,
so
2 out of 2.
Yeah, not a bad start.
not like me then. So we joked before. My first HYROX, I barely finished it because I cramped up halfway round. The second one I go into it with a hamstring pull. So I'm going to be having my mental pen and paper today, Sean, to pick up some notes. So we want to unpack as much as we can in this episode today around business, around life, around personal journey, beliefs, mindset, and definitely pick your brains on HYROX, because I know a lot of people listening to this will be keen to know what does it take to not only finish a HYROX but be competitive. And I think for me, Sean, you just embody a genuine all-round high performer. Now, I consider a high performer someone who isn't just successful in business, isn't just someone who has a family, it's someone who genuinely dedicates time for their family, whilst also looking after themselves and competing at a high level you do as well, which is just the icing on the cake for me for a high performer. So just share a little bit, just to kick us off, about your personal journey. Where did it all start?
So where did it all start? Okay, so if we're going to start right at the beginning, it was just growing up in Liverpool.
Are you a red or a blue?
I'm a red, like my dad. My dad's travelled all over the world, been to every final. Like he's hardcore, and obviously wanted to push me early as possible into football. So as early as I could walk, it was ball at the feet, kicking the ball, right foot, left foot, do that kind of thing. So football was my life essentially from age 4 or 5. I joined my first Saturday Sunday league team. And
4 or 5, got early.
Yeah,
you got put to it early then.
Yeah, in Liverpool there was a fantastic area, Camp Hill, and there was loads of really good footballers that were on there. The standard was good. It was in South Liverpool, and Camp Hill, because it was literally on a hill, like you'd be playing on a slanted pitch. Yeah.
So is that one of them? If you played a game where one half you'd be shooting uphill, and then the second half you'd be shooting downhill.
But as I say, there was a lot of good footballers that were in the city that come through that.
What footballers? Because that rings a bell, Camp Hill.
Camp Hill. I would more say, the biggest people, obviously, as you know, the Steven Gerrards, the Wayne Rooneys, they were from a different part of the city. I went to the same high school as Steven Gerrard, and then later in my life, when I moved out of my first family home into a different part of the city, we were just close to literally round the corner from where Wayne Rooney grew up. So I think Liverpool does breed a lot of good athletes, boxers, footballers. Like they're pretty.
They've got
good.
Grit. They got grit, mate. They got grit, mate. I know when I think of Liverpool and boxing, I think Tony Bellew. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just someone who just loves it.
Yeah, he's loves it. Another top athlete. But there's lots. As you say, I think it's there is that kind of fighting spirit, competitiveness, aggression.
You've got to be able to look after yourself as well.
Well, it was just part and parcel of it. Whether you were that personality type or not, it was very much like growing up playing football, whether it was Sunday league or in the academies, it was like, right, we're getting stuck in. And there was a little part of that kind of bite to the work and that kind of tenacity in football was just it was what was expected. it was applaud to put a good tackle in. It was applaud to, you know, dominate. So it was like, that was just the way it was growing up. You'd play teams and competitions and national trophies and national cups. You'd play lads from wherever, Lancashire, Yorkshire, Shropshire, whatever, or down south. And it was always like, you know, you want to get out there and put your stamp on things. So yeah, you know, going back to it, football was my life growing up, and I got brought on to Everton FC at age 8.
Oh really? Was that just watching you play Sunday League?
Yeah. As I say, there was a lot of scouts in and around that area because there was, you know, good lads, and I signed for Everton, I think about age 8, and stayed with them for a number of years. And then
what position were you?
Well, then I was a striker. Everyone starts as a striker.
Everyone was a striker or a winger, weren't they?
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? I was the same. You're quick, right? I was quick as well. It's like if you're fast at that level, put you up front. You're probably like me. You can take on half the team and score 5, 6, 7, 8 goals every game.
That was it. That was me. I was on a pound a goal from my dad, so I was trying to rack it up. I'd score 5, I'd score 6. So if you're scoring 5 or 6 a game, then the Everton scouts, the Liverpool scouts, you're on the radar. So it was a proud moment for me to be there, and then with a Liverpool, with a red family.
Yeah, how did that sit with you?
It was all right for me. I was just proud in myself, and I think my dad was great that I took the next stage onto academy football, and you know, it was a great setup, Belfield at the time, but they had people like Wayne who were just above me, and you could.
So what age?
I'm born in '87, so I'm a bit younger than Wayne, but his name was everywhere around the.
So was he just a couple of years older than you?
He's older, yeah.
But even back then, were people?
I played with Wayne's younger brother. Was in my age group.
Okay.
Because
he went on to play pro. Am I right in saying?
He was a good player. I think in our team, James Vaughan, he played for Everton first team. He was in my group.
Yeah.
So he's good lads. Michael Johnson, who went on to play for Man City first team, was in my group. But as I say, Everton was good, but the biggest, proudest moment was signing for Liverpool. So that came a few years later.
So what age was that then?
I signed for Liverpool at, I think, 11, 12. I was around that age.
So how did that happen if you were Everton? Because I know, obviously, having played myself, you know, there was a little bit of sort of poaching that would go on around then as well, and like tapping up parents and things like that. But how did that come around? Because
do you know,
I'm guessing Liverpool's a small...
I think, going back to it, it wasn't a poaching situation. There was... it was funny. There was something I was going through a period. I was a bit unsettled at Everton after a time. And I wasn't really enjoying my football, even at a young age. So my dad brought me back into the Sunday League kind of environment where I was playing with no pressure, enjoying football, scoring goals. And soon enough, I was back on the Camp Hill, scoring 5 and 6, and then it was Liverpool coming for me. So, but I think I was happy at Liverpool. I have happier memories there. But you know, at that age, you're going to get fantastic coaching from any Premier League club. So it was a good start to my footballing career, and it was, as I say, it was a fantastic place to be.
So how long were you at Liverpool for then?
I came out of Liverpool when I was in high school then, so it was I came out of Liverpool, I got released at about, I think 14, I'm going to say.
So just before Schoolboys Farms?
Yeah. So it was, the standard was really high.
Yeah, I get it.
It was just one of those situations. I was playing in midfield then, and it was a sad time, but it was just, okay, I'm not stopping, on to the next. Signed for Blackpool, and then I stayed with Blackpool then for years. I ended up playing for the first team, breaking through to the first team whilst I was still in high school. So
really? So what, you played football, was that 16?
Yeah, 16. I was the youngest player the only ever player at the time, I don't know if the records have changed now, but it was only Trevor Sinclair.
Yes.
Obviously we know international Trevor Sinclair, who was younger than me. So I was second youngest to appear, but I think my starting lineup, I was the youngest at the time.
And were you actually still in school then?
Yeah, literally. So what happened was, we played a reserve game and I was in the youth team. Tell a lie, I wasn't in the youth team. I was in the under 16, so I was pre-youth team.
I get it, yeah.
I was pre-youth team, and I was called up for a reserve game, and it was at it was at Bloomfield Road, and we played a good side. And Steve McMahon was the manager. So Steve McMahon, he's also from Liverpool.
Yeah, he played the
World Cup for England. So he was the manager at the time, and he was obviously watching in the stands. And I had a stormer, but it didn't feel like I was having anything over the top. But just everything I did was neat and tidy. Played
Still
well.
playing in the middle, in midfield.
No, I was playing left back then. I ended up becoming playing on a left back while I was with Blackpool. So and then we just got a phone call from the manager saying, "Look, you're going to be training with the first team." So I'd kind of skipped over all the YTS lads who were all like fucking pissed off.
They must have been spewing.
Yeah. Oh, they were fuming. Like, why is he? That's just what it's like, isn't it? So everyone's waiting in the queue. And sometimes a lot of that's based on age. So the natural progression is 16s go to first year YT, second year YT, third year YT, Resis, Pro. But I'd leapfrogged all of them, started training with them. So we're on Squires Gate training ground. First team are there with me. But I warmed up with the YTs. So it was Clancy, come over here. So I was like made up. I could feel the evils.
Just giving your mates a wave as you fuck off to the first team.
Because so it was, and then I trained with them.
Did you feel out of place? Or
I just thought I'd give it a go. I was young. You don't really have those kind of. You don't have that fear, do you? When you're 16, you're just giddy and happy. You've got nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
So I just want to, get about, be busy, and then I got called into the manager's office in the training ground, and he just said, "Son, have you got a suit?" And I was like, "No." And he went, "Ring your dad, get a suit. You're in the squad for Saturday." So I was like, "Wow."
Have you got a picture of that suit?
Explosion. Yeah, terrible.
Did it fit you?
Just about, I think, yeah. I think my mum took me to Next or something took me to Next, got a suit, big tie, big knot like that.
You should just wear your school suit.
I know. Take me school badge off the blazer. So that was it. Sheffield Wednesday on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday at home. Read out the team. And he put me on the bench, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this. This is insane. So, and it was summer. It was towards the end of the season. The stadium was rocking. Nice sunny day. And Blackpool, Sheffield Wednesday. And then he just gave me the go get warmed up in the second half. So it's like, this is it. I'm going to make me professional debut. Shit. It's fantastic.
16.
So I came on, and it must have been 10, 12 minutes at the end. But again, I got a lot of the ball, and
you do okay?
Yeah, it was. I just thought, just go and do what you normally do. So I was doing a few things. I still remember it. Like a guy came. I can't even remember the player's name who was playing against, but senior pro at Sheffield Wednesday, and I've gone down the line to clip it, and then just Cruyff them, sent the crowd all clap, popped it off. So I'm just like doing a few bits and pieces, and great day, fantastic success, and then I was in the squad again the next home game.
Yeah.
So as he's reading the team, I'm like, please be on the bench, please be on the bench, please be on the bench. And he goes, in goal, such and such, Clancy, left back. And I was like, looked at him, and he's like, you're starting.
Shit, did that attract press at the time? Did it?
Yeah, it was in the papers in Liverpool Echoes. I had photographers come to me school, because I'd finished the game with Sheffield Wednesday on the Saturday, and I was in school for maths on Monday.
What was your reaction at school?
Brilliant, it was great. All the PE staff were delighted, the school was delighted, and my friends were all proud of me. So, yeah, it was a proud moment for me. So, yeah, it was great. It was a great start. But then, unfortunately, after being featured in the first team, then my parents are talking with agents, and it's all like going, this is kicking off. He got sacked that summer, manager.
Okay.
So manager got sacked. Steve McMahon, and Colin Hendry took over.
He was, when I was at Coventry, he came to Coventry towards the end of his career. So I actually cleaned his boots.
McMahon.
Colin Hendry.
Did you?
The Scottish,
of course,
the Scottish captain for years.
Scottish captain.
Blackburn, he won the Premiership with Blackburn.
Correct.
No, so he cleaned his boots at Coventry.
Wow.
I was the boot boy at Coventry, for anyone listening. Shit job. 3 years on the... 3 years on the...
I've been boot boy as well.
I don't even think they do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, so Colin Hendry comes in.
So Colin Hendry came in, so it was like, he brought in a bunch of new players, a bunch of new staff. You kind of like... am I involved in your plans or not? but pre-season, it was the same, and it was difficult then. So, but at that summer, I converted from youth team, under 16s to a youth team player. Then so I got me YTS, you know, me contract there. So I was full-time youth team player. Yeah. But it was hard then. It was I wasn't. I was kind of back to square one.
Well, so it's amazing just for people listening to this. I know some people might not be interested in football, but it is a brutal business, isn't it? I mean, like when you have a new manager come in and they know nothing about you, especially as a young player, you are literally starting from scratch each time.
Exactly. And Blackpool had almost a run of that. There was so much turnover.
Were they in the Championship or
League One? It was at the time, and there was a lot of turnover of staff.
Okay.
It was difficult to make progress. It was hard. So yeah, it was a tough situation. But
how did you? I just want to rewind back because I think this will add some context to the mindset you now have, Sean. You said at the age of 14 you get released by Liverpool, right? So you didn't get your schoolboy contract, and I know a lot of people, a lot of kids, and there's probably some parents listening to this whose kids are into football, you know, and I think it's really valuable to share your insight on this, that they get that first knockback and they fold, you know, or they don't know how to deal with that rejection. Now, ultimately, I had that rejection at 20, you know, and I folded, you know, a little bit later. How comes you didn't? Like, because so many people, especially when you're 14, you can really start labelling yourself as I'm not good enough. You know, what did you say to yourself at 14? Because you've also got, you know, for example, you'd have been at Liverpool, you've been going to school as a Liverpool player. It can be, as a kid, I don't know how. Even when I felt this way when I left Coventry, you can be a little bit like, 1 minute you've been this flavour of the month and everyone's looking at you like a Coventry player or a Liverpool player in your case, and then overnight you're not. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, I think there is elements of obviously disappointment, and then there's embarrassment. You know, why aren't you with them anymore? Did you get released? Yeah. And it's a bit like,
especially when you're in that school and you're the best player.
Yeah, of course, it's hard, and you know, you've got people that are your peers that got kept on and you didn't. You're still seeing them people, and the dynamic does change. It is tough. It's definitely I can definitely see why people completely fall out of love with the game or completely have such a knock in confidence that they don't recover sometimes ever. And then you see some fantastic players and they get a job or they quit, and it's hard for them. For me, it was I don't know. It was just, I knew I wanted to continue this. I loved football. It was all I knew, really. That was all I did. Football. And so I wanted to get back into it. And okay, if Liverpool don't want me, then who does? And let's get going. So there was interest straight away from Blackpool, and just, you know, my dad was with me and said, you know, it's a club where you might be able to go and shine. Give it a good go. Go and have a trial. And we went up there, and I just felt like, okay, great. The coaches were good, and it just became my new home. Just got my head down and just got on with it, I think.
So what did you do then? You know, in Conor Hendry, like, so how long were you at Blackpool?
I was with Blackpool all the way up to pro, as I say. I had to go move up there, living in digs. That was brilliant. And it was funny because when I turned YTS, we had a load of Scousers that got signed, because we had another 2 boys that got released from Everton signed to Blackpool, and another boy from Crewe who signed for Blackpool who was from Liverpool. So we would all go up on the train in the morning from Lime Street, and you know, we were skint because the YTS wages were like,
shit.
Oh my God.
So bad.
Minimum, where's the minimum wage?
So
I don't know how they got away with it. I think we were paying £45 a week, right? And like, obviously they go, well, you don't pay for living accommodation, that's all included, your food's included, but you're getting £45 a week level 1, which is a shambles. So we'd be bunking on the train to try and save like tenner, and we'd be there'd be nothing to do in the winter in Blackpool. We'd be playing Pro Evo all night. Like,
it's not the most glamorous of places.
No, not the most glamorous of places at all, especially not in the winter. Everything's shut. So became probably one of the highest performing Pro Evo players in the world, I'd say. That we used to go off in the digs on that, but it was that much boredom. You'd say, let's go to the shop for something to do.
Yeah.
But you didn't have any money to spend.
Just look around.
You didn't have any money to spend. I'd be looking at them like I had a big sweet tooth, like these big chocolate, like extravagant desserts, and it'd be like £3, and I'd go, come on back on payday. I'm going to get you on payday, because I couldn't afford a £3 dessert. Like, it was mental, but you just get through it, don't you? It's funny, like, when you've got this much, you still live.
No, it's
like,
true.
You just make it
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
don't you?
You're not going to
So
die, yeah.
it was just football, just be a footballer. So it was great, the YTS days. And then what ended up happening to me, football career-wise, it was coming to the time to get professional contract, and I was offered a pro, so I was delighted.
At Blackpool, yeah.
At Blackpool,
What age
yeah.
was this?
18, yeah, 18, 19. So finished YTS, done really well over the couple of years, and it was professional contract. At the time, manager gets sacked again. New manager comes in. Experienced pro Simon Grayson.
Yes,
He's
he played
still
at Villa.
a manager now.
Yeah,
of course,
I know
yeah.
who.
Leeds manager, and
Exactly.
So he was the stand-in coach, and he wanted the job to be permanent, which it eventually became. And so we wanted more money. Like, they were offering like buttons again, and we were like, "Come on, we've lived like."
How much were they offering? Just some
I think
context.
it was something daft, like £120 a week or something like that.
As a fucking pro contract.
Professional contract. And we were like, come on.
In League One, in a professional league.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's
It's so you're thinking, but it's almost like, you know, if you're in a club and a club's in a specific financial situation, it's almost like the bar is this for first year pro. And then with age, as you each season you go up, you can get more, but you've got to stay in that. And look, it wasn't a case where I was, you know, just in it for the money at all. It wasn't like that, but it just became a situation where I was like, this is you can't live on it, because they don't let you stay in digs. You've got to pay for your own accommodation then. So it was just
at
like
120 quid.
So it was just bonkers. So me and the other lad who got Gouldy, my mate, who came from Crewe, we said, let's go to America. Let's go and see what it's like out there. Yeah. And we did. We went out to America and played out there for a while in Texas.
How did that come about?
It just came about with a fella we met who was an ex-Chelsea player that ran this company that was getting young, good players out to America. And we thought, yeah, we'll have a bit of that. Let's do it. And we stayed there for 3 months, lived in Texas, and played in this league where we got to travel. We went to Louisiana, we went to Austin, Texas, we were in New Orleans, and we were playing against all these teams. It was amazing. And then I got my agent give me a call and said, we've got a club for you back home. Now you could either stay or, but the US pathway is different. You had to go to college and you had to do a 4-year stint.
Yes.
And then go into the MLS. So I was counting up and thinking 19, 20, 21, I'm going to be 23 before I can earn some money.
And play professional.
And play professional, yeah. But again, it just, I didn't want to go back to school. The lifestyle was great, but I didn't want to go back to school. I wanted to be earning, and I wanted to be, you know, playing.
Playing at a decent level,
So I went back to the UK. A couple of the lads stayed who came from London, and one got married and lived happily ever after, and you know, and he stayed there. The 3 of us we went back. So I ended up finding Southport in the conference. Yeah, played for them in the conference, and then just played against, you know, good standard, because the conference is a mixture of good young players, good players that are maybe on the way down, or you know,
a bit older,
bit older. And it was great. The conference was, I loved playing in it, and that's kind of where the level I stayed at for the rest of my career. Then played for Fleetwood. That was probably the highlight of my career.
They were a strong team, though.
Fleetwood was great. When I say highlight, it's like it's not the level, but it's the enjoyment factor of football. And you know, we had Jamie Vardy over at Fleetwood.
Was he?
Yeah, we signed
before he signed for Leicester?
Yeah. So I was teammates with Vardy. Vardy signed, and we won the league together. Yeah, we won.
Was he a machine then?
Machine, yeah.
Did you know then he had a chance of going?
Well, no one knew.
No one
knew he was, because he signed from Halifax, who were divisions below us. So we signed this kid from Halifax, and he came in just like this character. He is a character, and we didn't know who he was, but straight away, like, his ability and his aggression and his speed.
He was fast as fuck, wasn't he?
Just lightning quick.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant. We had such a good team. We had amazing players in that squad, and we went on and we cruised.
Did you in the FA Cup a few years? No.
The FA Cup, we did well. We got pretty far in the FA Cup that year. Yeah, with Vards. He scored like 30 odd goals. Yeah. But we had other good players as well. We had strong lads at the back, strong lads in the middle. We had a solid team. So Fleetwood was great because we won the Conference North, got promoted, won the conference, and we had some really good years there. It was quality. So it was. But going back to like fitness and where that is now and how I kind of got into that, I was always interested in the strength and conditioning side of things. My kind of forte and my skill set was like endurance, good engine, can get up and down, it was that kind of.
Did you do the bleep test?
Well, yeah, I don't think I've ever lost one. That was my time to shine. Do you know what I mean?
To go toe to toe in our prime again. Yeah. So I was the same at Coventry. I remember doing it against. We did it at Coventry, right? And I remember it was the majority of the club that did it, and I was like I'd never lost a bleep test, and Gordon Strachan joined in this one. He was the first team manager at the time, and he's 42. And I thought, there's no fucking way I'm going to get beat by a 42-year-old. Where's a gaffer or not? It's not happening. Yeah. But he pushed me hard. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a tough gig, isn't it? But
bleep tests are disgusting. Yeah, not many people like doing them. But as I say, whether you like it or not, you've got to be able to get in that mindset where you're going to go through the pain and suffering. But it's who quits first. That's all it is, isn't it?
That must have helped, in terms of your bank of fitness. Consciously, subconsciously, even now for HYROX, right, as well.
Some of the pre-seasons we did were brutal, brutal. Yeah. We had this guy at Fleetwood who was an Ironman. He got brought in by the manager, and he was like unbelievable. He was in his 40s, but he'd go and win his age category in Ironman, and he'd have us running up the fells in like Preston. He'd have us on the beach. We'd go away to Austria, and we went away to Scotland one year, and it was just insane the amount of work we did. It was brutal, even for me. But as I say, that was my bag. I could run and keep going. That was like my thing.
That's why you're good at fucking HYROX.
That's my view.
That's why you won your first 2 HYROX.
Yeah.
Fucking give us a chance, Jesus.
But the funny thing is, after football and coming to moving over into to Dubai.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing running. I've been here for 7 years. I haven't done any running. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've ran over 5k. I just feel like I'm getting the wheels turning again for the running. Because I just thought I've done enough running. We'd run every single day in football and every line and backs and 12-minute runs and bleep tests. I was I don't. I'm done with it. I just wanted to get in and do explore other types of fitness. But now it's like kind of turning back the clock and starting to hit these runs again and stuff.
So when you were Fleetwood playing semi-pro or in the conference, was that full time or was that?
We were full time. Yeah.
So full time. Were you working at the same time or no? So that was full time. So what age did you come out of that?
I had a bad injury then. It was the season we got promoted. And my groins after every game were just like hanging off. I finish on a Saturday and I was in bits until like Wednesday, and then I'd repair and then they'd be like, you need to play. And I said to the club, there's something wrong with me and I don't know what it is. And it was like, we got promoted in the playoffs, the first promotion. So the season continued a bit longer, and they were like, just hold on and then we'll get you seen to by a surgeon or we'll get you fixed. So I was like, okay, and I was just doing myself damage, and then at the end of the season, it's like, okay, we've been promoted. What's the story with me? Something's going on in my body, and they said we're going to get into this private surgeon. It was in Spire, private. I think it was Spire Hospital, and this particular surgeon had pioneered this operation where it was like an adductor tendon release, and he'd done loads of the rugby lads, he'd done loads of the footballers, and he was like, you'll be fixed, let me do this to you, you'll be fine. But I was having an injury where it was giving me mainly problems on my right side, but then on some days it'd be left side as well. So when I actually got there for my consultation, he was like, we'll just do both. And coming up to it, because there was so much like trauma in that area of my midsection, I actually got a hernia on the right and the left as well. So I couldn't even get out of bed. I'd try and sit up out of the bed, and it would feel like you're getting stabbed with a knife. So he said, don't worry, we'll do your hernias and your groins. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, all done in one shot. But I was just a young lad in my 20s. I didn't know anything about sports science. I didn't know anything about the body anatomy at that stage. So I just was like, I just don't want to be in pain anymore. So just whatever you say, I'm in. Like, let's do it. Do you want to do right and left? You may as well. It won't trouble you then. So I was like, oh, well, I'm here. Let's do it. It turned out to be the complete wrong thing to do.
Why?
Because after the surgery, I went back to the first team and I was trying to play, and I was still getting the same pain. And I remember the manager saying to me, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you keep telling me you're injured. Like, and he was putting pressure on me as well to, like, get fit. And I was like, I'm not the type of player to sit off and collect money. Not the type. No. I want to play every minute.
Yeah, of course.
Whether I'm tired, whether I've got a niggling injury, I want to play. Like, but I just couldn't. I was in pain all the time. So I was like, why is this happening to me? So I was begging the club to take me somewhere to try and find the reason why, and I ended up going to Lilleshall with the which was the before St George's Park. It was where the England FA base was, and they put me into a camp. Like, I think it was 2 weeks I stayed there with this like tremendous physio, and she diagnosed me like within an hour. She said it's your glutes. Your glutes have got no strength in them. Like, all of your very like anterior. Dominant, which a lot of footballers are.
Loads of us were. I can't remember, Sean, honestly, my time at Coventry. This is mental, knowing what I know now. I cannot remember doing any glute isolation work, as in glute bridge,
never,
Romanian
never,
deadlift. I mean, deadly serious. I can't remember doing a split squat, anything like that. No. Basically stuff that's going to shorten the glutes as well. You know, it's madness, really. You think
totally.
And I can't remember doing much hamstring work, and most footballers. You know, I'm still trying to recalibrate the balance now. A quad dominant.
Yeah, of course, and that's why they've usually got six packs. Like, we're very anterior dominant. That's just the way you play. You're on your toes. You're moving that way. So I was just completely imbalanced. But years and seasons of that same movement patterns.
Correct.
It was just like, she just said, your glutes aren't doing enough, so your groins are getting thrashed to pieces. That's why you're causing so much trauma. You need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. So it was so simple. Like, she gave me bands to do this in the warm-up. I'd do it in the warm-up, play the 90 minutes, fixed. And like you said, that was uncommon. So when I'm getting the band out in the warm-up, everyone's going, what are you doing? Like, what is this? Look
at this diva.
Look at this diva, yeah, exactly. Take the piss out. I was getting the piss taken out of me all the time. For doing this like stuff that looks unusual, but now you go onto the pitch. You know, I can remember the last Premier League game. The whole squad, the whole Liverpool squad, are all doing banded stuff.
Shit, just to get their arse fired up. Yeah, and
just before the game,
the groins, adduction.
Works. So I didn't need the op. I didn't need this, but I've got scar tissue build up. I just felt like I couldn't hit the levels of performance. Even now, I've still got.
Yeah, you got to manage it. So was that your cue then to football? I'm on borrowed time here.
Yeah, started then looking into what I'm going to do next then, and this brought me kind of to Dubai really.
So you're mid-20s then?
Yeah, mid to late 20s.
And Dubai was a lot different back then.
Yeah. I've been here for 7 years, but it's funny. Kieran, who's my business partner in KO8, we went to school together, so we met at like age 11 and we went right through high school together, and he is the founder of KO8, and we kind of lost contact because he moved to Spain and I went off to pursue my football career. But we rekindled our relationship years later, and then I'd gone back to university then. I'd gone to study as a teacher. I did my football coaching badges, worked for Liverpool Academy, so went back to Liverpool but as a coach, which was great. We got to see the world. We coached in Norway, Greece, Ireland, like all over the place, and that was fantastic. Got me UEFA B licenses through them, and then so I was teaching in football, coaching in football. Then, as I say, went to uni to become a teacher. So got me teachers qualifications at Edge Hill, and then went into fitness as a coach. So I kind of like feel at home being a coach of some sort. I find it comes natural to me to explain to someone how to do something well. I've always had an ability to break things down in a way where people can understand what I want them to do. And so yeah, whether it's coaching, teaching, instructing, that's what I enjoy doing.
So how long were you teaching for?
So I went back to so I taught in my high school. So
did you?
Again, I've done a few like full circles. So started through Cardinal Heenan High School where I met Kieran, and became a teacher in there, teaching in post-compulsory education, teaching sport, so teaching anatomy and physiology, nutrition for sport, psychology for sport, programming. So getting these young lads through their kind of pathway into a sports professional, whether it be a physio, a PT, a coach, whatever. So again, that kind of brought me more in towards the health and fitness. And Kieran had invented this fantastic product called the KO8. So KO8 isn't a gym. The gym came later. KO8 is the product. So Kieran created this fantastic system, which is like a portable device you can take anywhere. You can do full body workouts. You can do mobility. You can do strength. You can do upper, lower core. It's just like a Swiss Army knife, but you can carry it around
and do it anywhere.
1.5 kilo. It's a mega. So I was really interested in that. And I just asked him, what's your business? And he was just basically door knocking on gyms, asking to see the manager. Can I show you what I've got? And then I said, because I had my teacher's hat on at the time, I said, have you got like any education behind it, any course? He was like, no, I've never really thought about it. So I don't know how to do it. So I was, at the time, I was being Ofsted inspected. I was writing curriculums. I was writing schemes of work because that was my job. So I said, I'll write it, or we'll write it together. And we got it endorsed by REPS back then, which is like the highest regulatory body for exercise and fitness. We got it endorsed by the government, so it became an actual qualification. And that was our route to Dubai then. Because over here, funny.
How does REPS? Because I remember REPS. That's who I did my personal training qualification with.
Yeah.
Obviously, they did a host of different courses, but I've never thought a product by REPS. How did the door open for Dubai? So
the door opened Dubai. My family had been coming here for years, and they'd been staying in a hotel, and we got friendly with the general manager at the time, and he then had moved from that particular hotel into Emaar with Burj Khalifa, and he was manager of the Armani Hotel, into his fitness as well. And I came across an article on the internet by chance, like luck, and it said in Dubai at the time, if you wanted to work on a gym floor, you had to have 10 hours of CPD, which is continual professional development, which means once you've got your qualification, that's not the end of the road. We want you to upskill every year by doing 10 hours of upskilling. So, light bulb moment for me went, if those coaches need 10 hours of courses, we've just got a course which is 10 hours long. That's a match.
Yeah.
So I called Mark Kirby, his name is, a fantastic guy, and I just said, look, the coaches need 10 hours worth of upskilling and coaching. We've got a government endorsed qualification by the UK in functional training with this equipment. We'd love to come over and do something where we can offer it out to these coaches. And he loved the idea. We had multiple conversations, and then he actually he said to us, what venue have you got? We said, we haven't, we're going to find a gym somewhere. He said, do it here, Burj Khalifa. We were like, wow, tallest building in the world. And he literally opened the door and he said, I'm going to send out all because we didn't know anybody in Dubai. We didn't know a soul, didn't have any contacts.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that then.
No.
We didn't know anybody apart from him.
Yeah.
So he said, I'll send the invitations out. And of course, because the invitations were coming from Armani, Burj Khalifa, Mark Kirby, then everyone responded to them and booked and registered. So we had 30 odd people who were like managers of Fitness First, Platinum, managers of Gold Gym, private owner operated gyms. It was packed. So we turned up like full on imposter syndrome, me and Kieran.
Basically like completely winging it in a way. Do you know what I mean?
We actually hadn't practiced the course before. This was the first ever course that we'd ever delivered. Was in Dubai in front of like you know, the best Dubai's got to offer in terms of coaches and staff. And we just give it our all. We smashed it. Like, so we did a 2-day event. We made fantastic, wonderful contacts. And it was at the Burj Khalifa rooftop. It was called the Burj Club. So imagine a rooftop area overlooking the fountains underneath it was just spectacular. It was like dream come true. And as I say, we had a 2-day event. We had a closing ceremony at the end. Mark put on canapes, like the full 9 yards, just helped us, give us the platform. But he said, I can give you the platform, but you need to go and deliver.
And at this point, you're still living in
Liverpool.
And just Mrs. come along at this point?
No, just Kieran and I. We left the families at home, and we came by ourselves, and we would be out having meetings. And I mean, you know what Dubai is like. It's the city that doesn't sleep. People are in the malls at 1 a.m. and that was us. We were getting up, we were getting out, we were meeting everybody we could. We were having meetings at 12 midnight in the malls, and then we'd go back to the room and we'd edit, because we were doing vlogs then. I wish we would have continued them, because now it's like vlogging's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. But we should have carried it on, because back then, 2016, like, we would have been pretty far in by now. We probably would have had a lot of subscribers. So we'd go home, we'd edit videos, and we'd fall asleep at 2-3 a.m. and then we were again up at 8, and we'd just get after it like animals for like 10 days.
So just networking like crazy.
And then we ended up doing 5 trips in the same year. We came in, out 5 times in 2016, because the coaches that we were like exposed to when we were delivering our course, they were saying, we loved the course, can you come and teach my team? So I've got 9 PTs. So we did Fitness First Platinum, we did Gold's Gym, we got invited into OP. There was loads of different places that Nad Al Sheba, we got asked to go in. So we one of our first, I think it was like the 5th one, we were in the Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan's private facility. We were like video camera, we had to give passports in. He gave us his private space, but we had like 35 coaches there. It was just insane. So the first year, the stuff that we did with KO8, like it was crazy. And then towards the end of the year, we just said, we need to leave Liverpool. We've kind of hit the ceiling. We've sold into the best gyms that there is. There's nowhere really to go to progress. We're either going to go to London or we're going to go to Dubai. And we went down to London a little bit, and it was just a different dynamic. It was just a little bit like, in Dubai, everyone's pleased to see you and being like open to innovation. Tell me what you've got. I'm all ears. Like, let me help you. London's a little bit like, why are you in my gym? What are you trying to take from me? Like, get out. I don't know your face. And it's a bit like, it's different.
It's more of a scarcity mindset, I think, sometimes, isn't it?
Possibly.
It's a bit, and there's a big room for everyone to win.
I think there's, especially London, the population, everyone can win. But and same now in Dubai and other cities. I think a lot of people need to understand that there's enough for everyone. If you're good at your job and you're dedicated and you're giving good quality and good value, it doesn't matter if there's a gym next door. It doesn't matter. You will have customers. You'll retain customers, and you don't need to have a scarcity mindset. It's the wrong way to go about anything. There's enough people that need help. So much people that need help, especially in health and fitness, and what to eat and when to sleep and how to train. Loads of people don't know. They don't know what they're doing.
There's never been more people out of shape and unhealthy, Sean. It's ridiculous.
So many clients out there.
Yeah, for everybody. I don't think there's ever been more awareness about health and wellness and mental health, etc., etc. So I totally agree. I mean, we're both coaches here. It's like what we're trying to do is help people, and I think the sign of confidence in a great coach is coach or gym. If someone isn't suited to you as a coach or you as a gym, then I think this place will be better for you right now, because I think people go in different cycles sometimes on their health and fitness journey anyway, don't they? You know, some people go from performance mode to fat loss mode.
I have.
So, you know,
my
for example,
own training,
I know even when I personal trained Sean in London, there were times where I would say to a client, I'd rather them see me less and go and have extra Pilates sessions, go and have some yoga sessions, because I knew that was more complimentary than seeing me. And I think there's a scarcity mindset with that sometimes.
Definitely, you've got to find a good match, and when that scarcity mindset kicks in, it's like lose a client, lose money, have to fill that slot again, have to put marketing out there, have to do work. So they're trying to keep hold of
but
maybe a mismatch.
What happens,
at
I think,
times.
if you genuinely have, this is a great message for any coaches, if you genuinely have the best interests for that client in your heart, they're going to speak about you to other people more than ever anyway.
Absolutely.
Even if that client did have to go and experience someone else or something else to do some MOT work or to, I don't know, meet a certain goal, if you've been a massive part of that person's journey and they've maximised their progress with you and you've exhausted your skill sets with them, then, and you say, you know what, amazing job, really enjoyed the relationship, which I have with so many clients, and then they go and do their own thing, then they may come back at some point, which we've had with our clients, or two, you've played your part of the journey before they go on to do whatever, and it's looking at the bigger picture of things, you know. So
Totally.
So then, what did you do? So you moved.
So we came to Dubai. Yeah,
That was
2017, January 2017. But we brought the families this time, and we all moved into one apartment, like the Big Brother house, and we didn't know how to navigate the city. We made every mistake, made every fine.
What mistakes did you make? Because I'll say one thing I love about these guest podcasts, and we've all made some fucking serious fuck ups in life. I've got catalogues, and every week. What were your biggest lessons, would you say, with that transition, or just those initial stages of business with Kieran trying to make a dent? What were some of the biggest mistakes or lessons that knowing what you know now, you wouldn't have done?
I think there's never a right time to do anything. It's rare, isn't it? And with all the best will in the world, if you've got a lot of savings behind you and you're prepared, and then you can transition into Dubai, things will be a lot more smooth. But we were just like, right, we're going, pack up, let's go. The girls were like, whoa, this is happening too quick.
How did you sell the missus into that one?
We'll go for 3 months. 7 years later, we're still here.
How did Steph react to that?
That's it. This is where we need to be. This is going to be fantastic. But it's like I say, we didn't even know anything about company formation, visas. We didn't know anything too much. We did everything blind. We didn't really get much advice going in. We kind of just jumped in the deep end and then tried to tread water. So it was difficult in that respect. So that was limiting. When you've got no visa in the city, it's limited to where you can stay accommodation wise. You can't rent a car. So we were metroing. We had 18-month-old baby. So everything was tight. It was difficult, and you just had to get out there and grind hard. So we even like the in and out tourist visa, like we had to do a visa run to reset the clock. We got the times mixed up. We had to pay overstay fines, but not just for me. It was like times 2, times 3 for the baby. Yeah. So you having to just pay out. So yeah, it was difficult, but
why do you think it worked? What did you have to?
Well, there was times where we said, this isn't working, I need to go home. And I was very stubborn. I was like, no way, I'm not going anywhere. This is where we need to be. I will make this work and we'll do it. And we didn't have a gym. We've got a gym now, which is amazing. But back then we had no facility to operate from. So we would literally, God's honest truth, we had 2 suitcases, which were our suitcases with our clothes. We put 15 KO8s in the 2 suitcases, and we'd walk from JBR to Skydive Dubai, which is about a 20 odd minute walk. And we'd have the baby in the pram, we'd have the KO8s in the suitcases, and we'd walk there every day and just set up grassroots on the field and just like try and Instagram people and walk up to people, do you want to come to this boot camp? We had no start, no nothing.
So that was your way of grabbing attention?
Yes.
To just literally get people to see you doing it?
Exactly, yeah.
So, and film the footage and just hope that people get caught
exactly.
on.
So 7 days a week we were there at like 9 a.m, 7 days a week, and we grinded for months, and we didn't miss a day for months. Like
you must have had some days, Sean,
soul destroying,
where nobody's around, you get no bite. But that, what a phenomenal trait that is. Resilient. How did you keep going? Because I know a lot of people, they're tapping out. What was the why? What was the driver behind it?
We just knew we had a product that was unique, different, and it helps people, gets people strong, gets their core like super solid. It gets people mobile, and we were like, this is different. We're different. And there was so many different coaches out there and doing their thing in Skydive Dubai, but we were very dynamic. We were getting after it, like that kind of, again, the energy. And no matter what the obstacle was, like even with the baby, he was 18 months, which is, most parents will know, it's a difficult age. Like they just run wild. They want attention all the time. So we'd have his food and his snacks and his toys, his little Paw Patrol toys. And we'd be like, stay there. And we'd go and coach, and then he'd get up and run off. So like Steph would run out of the session fuming, like, because she wants to be involved. She's got to do the baby. So it was like, it was carnage, but it was just that, like, another day done, another day done, another day done. Did we put a video out? Did we take any money today? And as I say, there was days where we were like, this is unsustainable, but we just built a community. That's what it was. We just made people have fun, good tunes on, good vibes, bring a friend, and we built up this community. And at times it was booming. Yeah. And then the sun came and it was too hot, and we were like, what can we do? Yeah. And we're going to lose this community because no one wants to train outside anymore. Of course. We had to make compromises, and we take our community into other people's spaces, and we just built up, saved up, and then we got our own spot in Marina.
So that's how KO8 came about now, your gym?
Yeah, we just grinded it, grinded it.
Man, what a story. Literally from you just throwing KO8 pieces of equipment and just doing workouts where no one's around.
We were saving and scrimping. We didn't get taxis. It was boiling. We didn't get taxis home. We'd carry the luggage and the pram because it was like we'd save 50 dirham. Do you know what I mean?
Over a month and then over a few months.
I remember with Kieran, it was hilarious. We'd walk down JBR and see this like lovely coffee shop, and we go, dying for a coffee? Are you dying for a coffee? Yeah. And then we think, should we just go home and get the Nescafe jar? It's just like proper.
But people don't see that now. They probably see now that your KO8 gym and the community you've got, and
maybe so, but
you know, you've had some, obviously you've got a lot of famous people in the gym as well, and they don't see the
it was grind. Yeah, we hustled hard, but you know, our families, they're up for the hustle. Kieran's up for the hustle. I'm definitely up for the hustle. So we
what was the why behind that? Like, I know obviously you said about a great product, but you know, one thing that fascinates me when a client comes on board, I always ask them, why is it important that you achieve this goal? Because without a deeper emotional meaning behind the goal, without knowing the why or the who it's for, what was the thing that kept you going?
I'd like pure self-belief. I knew my skill sets and my like ability to teach and coach and show people that this is a fantastic method of training, and that was just pure belief in who we are, what we do. I had ultimate belief and faith in Kieran and his skill sets, and I just thought, we're a small, lean team, but we're high performers, we're beasts, we can do it, let's go. And I've come. You can recognise talent straight away when you see them. So you would see other people, what they were doing and how they were operating, and I just thought, if that's the standard, we can surpass the standard. We haven't got a gym, we haven't got this, we haven't got that, but we'll get it, we'll do it. So that was it.
Then obviously, let's talk about KO8, the gym. You know, where we had very kindly, you put us through a horrific HYROX style competition. A lot of the guys had never did it, but obviously we just did our Dubai event, and we always kick off with the competition now, and we did it at Sean's gym, KO8, which is very unique in Dubai, I feel. There's a lot of gyms in Dubai, but I think it's very unique. I love the way you've got the actual outside running that you can do, rather than just running on treadmills and things like that. So what's the mission with the KO8 gym? For those who listen in who are based in Dubai, I mean, where is it?
We're right in Marina. We're in a fantastic location. We're very lucky and blessed that we're right on the waterfront. So it's beautiful. Like, you see the water, the boats going by. We train outside, but we've also got a fantastic indoor studio as well. And we opened this facility 2020. So we put all of this effort into...
Is that COVID?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the next hammer that
Put you in the face. Yeah.
So we did all of the build, and we did it ourselves. The whole design, everything. We were project managing the whole thing. So everything you can see, we did. And we put something together that finally it was our space. And I think part of that, because we were operating in the summers in other people's gyms, we were like, I wish it could be our way. So I think that's why we were so hands-on with the fit out, and why we did it the way we did it, because it was like, it's time to put our stamp and our flavour on the environment. And so we put all of this energy. It came to January, we were like, perfect, we're going to open in January, February, fitness month, everyone's ready to rock. So it was January 2020, and we put all of this effort and finances into the pre-launch, like the soft opening.
All of the money you've saved on coffee into this.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it was going great, and then all of a sudden, gyms must close by order of the government until further notice. So we were just like, oh my God, like, how could you couldn't even write it, like, what a nightmare.
So what did you do?
So we just...
Because obviously you've got a bit of momentum with them, with the community.
We had momentum, yeah, we had momentum. And what we did was, we obviously have the KO8 product, which was our kind of... That's our main business, the e-commerce. Like, people always think KO8's the gym. It's not. KO8 is the product and the e-commerce. So that really like took off, because everyone needed equipment at home, didn't they?
Oh yes.
Everyone was sold out.
Correct.
Kettlebells are sold out. Dumbbells are sold out.
So did you notice a massive boom and spike in business during that period?
We had our best period ever. So at a time we were like gutted over the gym, but then we were like, the online's like, it's going berserk. So
But you know the lesson and the value in that, Sean. Even me just listening to that is one of the reasons. Obviously, you had that boom with the KO8 product. Was all of the months and the years of the delayed gratification of putting in the work to draw attention to it without that immediate,
absolutely.
fix. I'm pretty sure when you first started trying to pitch the KO8 product, people aren't jumping through hoops to buy it immediately. Yeah. So
no, we'd had years of putting up posts, putting up education for it, going
and
to
branding, making people aware of the brand of the product, let alone the product.
Yeah, exactly. We built a brand. We built our brand from scratch. Yeah. And by the time COVID came around, people were ready to buy the product. So that took off, and it just saved us really, because without that, there was a lot of gyms. There was gyms around us that didn't ever recover. So we were like, again, how do we get into productive mode? So we was, I don't know if I should say this, but we were like, you shouldn't be leaving the house, but we were sneaking out, sneaking to the gym, putting the cameras up. We were doing all the safety stuff, because you remember when it first started, you didn't know, like...
No, you didn't. It was horrible.
We had gloves on, we had like all of the disinfectant everywhere, we had masks on, we had to get the guys in the Hamzat suits to, disinfect it all. So we were sneaking in underground and just filming all day. Just putting content.
Were you filming with gloves on and masks?
Yeah, like we had the coach over there. We were keeping safety distance. I'm behind the camera with all my plastic gloves on. And we're just making content, because there was nothing else you could do. Yeah, stay at home or sneak to the gym, make content.
I think the business lesson in that though is, I mean, look, it's a bit of a challenging time for a lot of people. Yeah, don't stop and market harder when things are more challenging.
That's exactly what we did. We just thought, we can't sit off 3 months or wait out this pandemic. We need to carry on.
Especially if you're keeping people healthy during a period where most people there's nothing they could do during COVID.
Exactly.
Nothing. And all they could focus their attention on was social media and things like that. Yeah. So,
well, we knew we had customers that had bought a KO8 to train at home. So we thought, we need to give them material. We need to give them guidance. We need to give them workout programming. We need to teach them what they can do in a confined space. Mm-hmm. If someone lives in a studio apartment, we were doing workouts in a very narrow hallway. Mm-hmm. Like, we were thinking of these things to accommodate the customers and build the KO8 community.
Surely that must have helped as well. You know, when the gyms were eventually back open, especially people in Dubai who used KO8, they're probably just itching for, okay, I want a bit of in-person time here. Did that help?
Yeah, I think people did want to get back into a social environment, even though when the first kind of barrier lifted, it was 2-meter box and all the rest of it. So we had to comply with all of those standards. But yeah, we found people did find a new, they found that online training is okay. It does work, but they like a blend. And I think, obviously with the big brands like the Pelotons and all, they did the same. They all went crazy in COVID because there was nothing else for people. But it just shows you that online training serves a purpose. People have understood now that they can still not have the excuse of access, transport. So I think it's definitely opened people's eyes to not having an excuse to train, or removing those barriers that they might face, and just changing the people's opinion on health and why health matters. So I think overall, I think the fitness industry was shocked big time by the pandemic, but I think overall waking people up to health,
I agree,
has benefited the fitness industry.
Not just physical, but emotional, mental health, and
Emotional, mental health.
Yeah.
Everyone knows probably now that training and exercise helps you feel better, no matter what. You don't ever come out of a training session and go, I feel more pissed off, angry, tired. Like, maybe tired for the moment when you've just done your finisher, but when I'm talking about like mental fatigue, and exercise is the opposite. Everyone leaves feeling better. They come in feeling a bit like lethargic, or a bit, beaten down by deadlines, bosses, people. But they always feel better after they train. And that's why it will never leave I'll train until the day I die, I think, because it just makes you feel great. That's the thing. And I think people have learned, maybe before COVID, they will have heard people say that, but they don't know what it actually means. But I think now they do.
So you're a parent. How important, in your opinion, is being a healthy parent?
Absolutely crucial.
Why?
Because I know my son sees what I do and what his mum does, and it rubs off well. It was funny. The funny story is, teachers said they had to do some like production, and it can be in whatever. And he created like a boot camp for his classmates. So we were laughing our head off, like, oh my God. And he wrote out the session plan, like he was only a kid, and his wrong spelling was like burpee, press up, and he wrote out a circuit and then did it with the class, like, so funny. But he plays football now. He trains. He loves games. He's a gamer. He loves Fortnite. Yeah. But I was a gamer. Okay. I got my first Nintendo when I was 5 or 6.
What was your first game? I played Nintendo against my brother, by the way.
Yeah, Nintendo. I remember playing Mario, the Turtles, Sonic, Master System, Dreamcast, PlayStation, Xbox. I've had all of them. So FIFA, yeah. So he plays games, so I don't mind him playing it, because I did. But
he's very active.
And make sure he's active as well, and he loves it. I'm gonna get him ready for the HYROX Young Stars, the HYROX Kids, because he did his first Spartan race.
Did he?
Yeah, he did really, really well. He came second. There's a few older kids in there, but he put it in. It was great, and he plays football on the weekends, and so he will be active. Like, that's just.
And how important do you think is it for a kid to be active for their confidence and ambition?
They have to. I think if you I think it builds confidence in children when they can, whether it's a PE class or it's a sports day or something like that. Not everyone can be the best. You don't have to be the best, but as long as you can participate and you can hold your own. And I think sometimes parents tell the kids too early, like, you're not going to be this, and it's okay. You focus on studies or whatever, but just the basic functionality, being able to, okay, you're not a coordinated child, you're not going to be a professional footballer or basketball player or tennis player, but you can still exercise, you can still get your heart rate up, you can still be healthy, you can still move. Just find something that you like. It might be dancing, it might be, I don't know, it might be just
it's just anything. It's movement. But like you said, and I'm fortunate enough to coach a lot of parents. Most of my clients are parents. It's probably the same as you. And every time I've had a conversation with them about this, they they categorically say that their kids are more outgoing, they've got more confidence, and they're less fearful of things like rejection. You know, when they've dipped their toe in sport, because I think sport teaches you so much, like that you can carries over in life. You know, because if you play sport, at some point you're going to not get picked for the school team, or you're not going to get that contract like me and you have. Think about life. You don't always get that professional outcome you want. You don't always get that sale you want. You don't always get that relationship you want.
No.
But if you've built up that grit, that resilience through sport, then you've sort of felt that already. Whereas if you've been sort of spoon-fed through life, or you've never failed, or you've always been told, oh, no, it's okay, you don't need to try on that. God, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks as well, though. You know, when you get hit with a life curveball, you have to go through adversity like you've done to build KO8.
I think when I think back about my school days, you don't always match with people personality. There's always bullies. There's always this. There's always that. And I come up against it a bit at times. But I think being good at sport definitely removes you from the firing line a lot of the time, whether that's right or wrong. It's just the way it is. If you're in the school team, you know, I just think it helps you gel with other kids in the school. You get a bit more kind of, whether respect's the right word, I don't know, but it definitely helps. Would you agree?
100%, Sean. And I know it's not all about weights and things like that, but I genuinely think if you're feeding your kid shit all the time and the kid's overweight, you are fucking deluded if you think that isn't going to affect that kid's confidence at some point.
Absolutely.
Because he's going to get called fat by his friends. If he is looking for a girlfriend, or if she is looking for a boyfriend, her confidence is going to be through the floor.
Definitely.
Which can then develop beliefs that in later life have tragic consequences on future relationships, future self-worth, future self-confidence when you go into things like job interviews, or maybe even trying to start a business. And I think this issue is massive. I genuinely think that parents owe a sense of responsibility to not necessarily like train your kid to be an athlete by any means, but keep them healthy and happy, because they're going to eat whatever you tell them to eat at a young age. They're going to mirror everything you do. And
they're going to fall into the traps that are there, like the brightly coloured sweets that are on the shelves that look amazing, pinks and yellows, and it's just like a natural thing to be attracted to this or McDonald's or, you know, the cool thing, whether it's cool or not, in terms of marketing, the Happy Meal, the way they put the toy.
Yes.
So now the child
it's the lead gen.
I'm going to be rewarded with a toy if I go for this meal.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like a psychological trick.
Yeah.
So it is hard to try and convince your kids this is better for you, this is healthy for you. But look, as a parent, the worst thing in the world that can happen to you is your child get ill, sick, or something happens to them. That's like, you'd rather it be yourself than your child. So you've got to put the right things in their little bodies that's going to prevent these things happening to them. It's going to increase them chances of being better at school, focusing better, you know. And I know you don't need to all be super clued up on science, but there's resources out there that you easily found where it shows you the effect on children, what you put in their bodies at the start before school, like the high carb compared to a protein, but the realism and the practicality of making scrambled eggs and avocado for breakfast as opposed to a traditional UK breakfast, which would be like cereal,
sugar with sugar on top.
Cereal, milk and honey, like cornflakes and honey, like it's just pure carb and sugar. So it's a crash. It's a glucose spike and a crash. Like, that's science.
Especially if there's a lot of kids that have the ADHD type traits. Which half the people are naturally hyperactive.
You're just amplifying it. So there's things that you can do to feed your kids. And I know schools have got better over the years in terms of what they ban this and they ban certain things, but you've got to. It's worth the time and effort to understand a few fundamentals that are going to help your child, you know, concentrate better, feel more energy.
Yeah, especially if a value to the parent is that their kid does well at school.
The kid's going to do well.
How can they do as well as they possibly could do at school if they don't have the energy or the focus or the concentration over a 4, 5, 6 hour day.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
Child sitting there and just like, why is this so hard? Why do I feel so confused? I hate this situation. Like,
Yeah.
And I know not every kid's the same, but at least give them a chance by trying to improve
Yeah.
how they feel in school.
Yeah.
Because you want your child to be happy.
Yeah. I'm conscious of time, and I've got to squeeze this out of you before we tap off. HYROX, I know there's a lot of people listening to HYROX, and you've done 2 and 1, 2. What are the biggest mistakes you see in people competing at HYROX? And you're probably going to name a few that I've already done. But what are the biggest mistakes you see?
The biggest mistake in HYROX for athletes that I see, especially for people that haven't done too many of them. Obviously, you're going to learn with every one, but the biggest mistake for sure is people come out the gate too fast. It's the stupidest thing you can do. Now, obviously, there's exceptions to the rule. There's highly tuned athletes that can come out rapid and can sustain and they've got a good lactate buffer. They can recover. But for the general population that are getting into HYROX, what they need to understand is there's 8 rounds of work in front, and if you go out too hot, you will crash and you will burn. And it's a dreadful, suffering experience. So you just need to, especially if you're in a solo, like in the solo situation, you want to just be like a tugboat, chug. At the first race that I won, I looked at my data, and what I love about HYROX is the data that you can pull from it. And what it does is it will rank you across all the other athletes in the arena based upon timestamps. So you've got an electronic bracelet on your ankle, and you'll navigate through the course, and you'll set off the beams, and you'll get a timestamp for everything. So you can see how fast you completed this exercise and how fast you completed this run. So it's all there. And when I was kind of reviewing my data on my first race, it will take that time that you performed, and it will give you in order, were you the fastest in the arena, or were you the 10th fastest, or the 100th, like in order. And I recognized I wasn't in the top 10 of anything. I wasn't like the quickest at the burpees, I wasn't the quickest at the runs, I wasn't the quickest at the sleds, but I was the fastest overall, because I was just like 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, consistent, as opposed to going like boom, putting in the fuel in and, you know, dropping the hammer.
Being the one station hero.
Yeah, it's just feeling like chugging along, and it's managing fatigue. The whole game of HYROX is navigating the course correctly in a way that you can manage fatigue. If you fatigue too early, it's hard to recover. Sometimes you don't have time to recover. You have to basically be very smart and have a plan so that when you come up against it, you know what to do. When people go into a race without a plan and they just kind of, let's see how it goes, let's hope for the best, I'm fit, I'll get through it. It depends what they want their outcome to be. If they want their outcome to be podium, win, or, you know, crush the PB and be competitive in that community, then they need to start taking all the other factors that go along with the race. Preparation, having a race plan, having the correct nutrition prior to the race, during the race, how to practice with the components, how to practice running. It all, when you strip it back, it's very like dense, it's multi-layered, and you can find 1% gains everywhere, to be honest. If you're a duo athlete, how you transition. There's loads of ways in HYROX that you can chip away at your time. I think the lowest hanging fruit is obviously run time. So you can be really, really good at the stations. You can do so much practice with the stations, but really you want to be focusing on how much you can sustain a consistent run at a fast pace.
I'm right in saying your pace is, Sean. I mean, they're like 4 minutes.
The funny thing was, like I say, my first race, I wasn't fast at all. Now that I kind of know what the standard is, it wasn't quick. Now I'm pulling everything sub 4 minutes.
That's insane.
But that's even from looking at, because obviously when if you're a competitive ex-pro, it's like it's in you to want to
Yeah.
do well, see what the competition's doing.
Yeah.
So as I say, I feel like I'm only just getting started now. Probably too late to just start. I'm 36 now. So
what about me? I'm 40, mate. Give me a chance.
I wish it was 26 just starting, but let's see what we can do. The cool thing about HYROX is it's all age categorized, so you can be the winner of your age category, which is great.
Yeah.
I think naturally the younger athletes will probably dominate.
What do you find is the hardest station for you?
This is an interesting one because off the bat, if you did all of the exercises fresh, you would say something like sleds or wall balls, burpee broad jumps. But it's funny. It's I think a lot of the things you got to take into consideration is when do you come up against this particular exercise. For example, farmer's carry. A lot of people think, oh, that's an easy one. You've just got to walk with the weights. It's easy. It's easy when you're doing it fresh, but when you are probably 45 minutes in or 40 minutes into your race, you've got pre-fatigued muscles from the rower because you've probably been doing 4 to 5 minutes pulling the rower, reps with your grip muscles, and then you hit your run, and then you come back in, you pick the weights up, and I had to drop the weights twice. Yeah. And I'm thinking, why is this happening to me? Like in training, I can do 100 meters, no problem, but it's the accumulative fatigue of all of the other things that have come before, plus your grip and muscles are pre-fatigued from the rower, which has just been. So it's more difficult than you think. Plus, if you're not a strong runner, that kind of section of the race looks like 1 kilometer run, 200 meter run with weights essentially, because you don't really slow down like the best races. They're running. Yeah, you're trying to. They're taking the weight and they run. So you essentially don't stop running for 1k run, 200 meter run, and another 1k run back to back to back. So runners can do well in this section of the race because you don't stop running, but you just run with weight. So you know, people underestimate farmer's carry. I underestimated farmer's carry, to be honest. It's hard. It's harder than you think. So for me, my kind of sticky point really is going from that into the walking lunges. I've experienced cramp at these stages, and it's difficult. But again, learning about your body, learning about how to approach the race with nutrition, with hydration, with all of these things can mitigate some of these factors that can destroy your race, like cramp. So there's a lot to learn, and if you really want to go for that podium spot, qualify for world championships, be elite, you've got to have the coaching. You've got to go and learn. It's not just turn up on the start line and just gun it around the course. Absolutely not.
What's the typical training week look like for you? From Monday to Sunday. I know it can vary, but say
so at the moment now, I'm doing a mixture of different things. Just within running alone, there's different styles of running that you're going to put.
So say that Monday, what would be the start? Say on a Monday, what would you do?
So start of the week, I will have typically had Sunday off. I'll coach on the Sunday, but I won't train. So I actually don't train as much as some people would think.
No, but this is what I want to pick your brains on, mate. Because I'm like, listen, I know you got to put the volume in and all this stuff, but I'm convinced there's so many people that drastically overtrain, thinking they're going to.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
absolutely. And I've, you followed some of the top guys in that field now, and the ones who are generally doing pretty well know when to push or know when to pull. But some of the things I see from some people training twice a day every day, without the recovery, especially when you got to work and all this stuff, it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's difficult. And when you listen to the podcast of the athletes that are in the elite 15 or doing really, really well, setting good times across the world, I've been so shocked with the amount of volume that they do, the amount of running, the distance they cover across a week. It's like insane. I'm nowhere near that. I'm below 10% of that.
But you'll be running sub 4 minute kilometers. That's
but that's what I'm so interested in. I'm thinking if I can maybe get close to the amount of time that they're putting in, it would be interesting to see how far I could go.
But would it?
But would it?
Yeah.
Do I have the time? Do I have the hunger to do that?
Would that be fatigue? I suppose it's finding the sweet spot, right? But so Monday, what would you do?
So we have a mixture of including the station work with running. So that's what was known as or what is known as compromised running. It's the practice of trashing the legs, and then being able to sustain your race pace.
So you do that on a Monday?
Yeah, start of the week, typically we'll do that. A lot of my training is based around the calendar of the events. So if I've got an event coming up, it's more like staggered in programs where it'll be more building the base and the foundations of running and strength. As we get closer into that middle section, we're working more with the compromised running, and then closer to the event, it's more speed work, skill work. Yeah. So that's where I am now. I'm kind of, my week on a Monday isn't always the same. It depends on how far I am away from competition. So at the moment, I'm 2 weeks out from a competition.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
So my workout today was 10 reps of 400 meter fast running. So I'm hitting much faster speeds than I would run the race, because when we get into this kind of phase, we're close to the event. We want to be training the body to be traveling quick. When you get to the actual race day, those 1Ks at your race pace feel like this is easy. Yeah, this is easy. So there's different times that require different styles of training, but I think to kind of generalize it, you know, you've got to hit your compromised running sessions, because that builds, you know, your body's able to tolerate these stresses that you put it under. Being able to get out and run when your legs feel like stone. It does flush out. Like, that's the thing people need to remember when they come out of them burpee broad jumps and they're like, how do I run? Like, my legs are gone. You've got to just go.
Just keep
going. Just keep going, because after like 200-300 meters, I was finding out it would clear out and I feel back to normal again. So you've got to have that like bravery, or at least confidence that it's gonna get better. Yeah, it'll pass. It feels like a nightmare right now, but it's gonna pass. You've got to get out there and get moving. So another thing that I would focus a lot on as we're getting close to an event is the breakdown of how I would approach the certain stations, having a system that you'll follow. For example, when you go to the wall balls, if you just go there and think, I'll just go until my arms fall off and then rest as long as I need to and then pick it back up, it's not the best way to do it. Having a system and a plan.
So what do you do?
So my plan is I go and do 24 reps.
Why 24?
Why not 20? Why not 25? It's 100
Some
reps.
people would like lose their mind of it not being a nice like round number. No. Let me explain. So I know for a fact when I get to 70 reps, I'm only going to do one more set. Okay. I've already decided, like, I've already made an agreement with myself. Take me out on a stretcher. I'm not moving. Like, if I've got 30 to go, I'm doing it. Yeah. No matter how wrecked I am, I'm not moving. I'm stubborn. I'm not going anywhere. So I've just got to get to 70. So 24 is set 1. Set 2 is 23. And set 3 is 23. And then that gets me to 70. And then I'm wrecked by then. But it's just like dark mode, like go somewhere in your mental psyche where you just like beast mode, you know what I mean? It's like 70 reps. I know that's like, it's time to go. Yeah. Black out. Yeah. Or cross the finish line.
And you have that similar approach across the station, you know, where you know you're going to push the sled so far, or the ski a certain pace rate.
I love to be.
Sorry.
Yeah, I love to be very detailed in what I do, and it's funny because in my last race, which was my PB, it completely went out of the window, and was why I didn't really enjoy the last race too much on reflection. It was great, the outcome was great, but the race itself and how I executed was not. It went against my, you know, what I tell everyone to do, and it was stupid really. And that's why I know I'm so confident I can go and smash the last time I just did, because I made so many mistakes, to be honest. So having a plan is always the best. I know for a fact how many strokes it takes me to hit 500 meters. So I don't even look at the console. I just count. I know my rhythm. I know my numbers, so I'm just sticking away, counting down.
So you know what to do with that
24, 23, and I know where I am.
So do you work on like reps? Like, have you worked out the reps, for example, to finish on your on your ski erg, and how many reps?
I know exactly how many reps it takes me to complete the ski erg. I know how many.
How many is that? Just out of interest.
It takes me about 64 strokes for 500 meters. So I go to 64 and then I count backwards again. So, and then with the sleds, I know how many steps I'm going to take before I stop. I know how many seconds I'm going to stop for.
Yeah.
And then I know how many steps I'm going to go again on lane 1. Lane 2, I do it different, but I know all of my breakdowns. So I just got to repeat the plan. It's the same. Like that's how I go at it. Like again, it's managing fatigue.
Yeah.
It's protecting yourself on the rower, for example. A lot of people, including myself, you're on the rower, your quads are just annihilated.
Yeah.
They're burning up. You can feel, but there's different ways that you can use your body in motion
Yeah.
to cover distance on the rower.
Yeah.
If your legs are screaming, it's because you're pushing through the legs
Too
like
hard.
a squat.
Yeah.
So it's very like knee dominant. So I can go into a different technique where it's more hip dominant,
Yeah.
posterior chain dominant. So it protects me quads, lets them simmer down. And then I'm using my lower back. I'm using my hamstrings and glutes. And then I know that if I'm starting to fatigue here, I'll use more arms and I'll go into biceps. And then I'll come back round again because my legs are recovered. So I'm just as I'm moving through any exercise, I'm just checking in with my body and I'm listening to how the muscles feel. Okay, that's tired, I'll go to this muscle. Mm-hmm. That's tired, I'll go to this muscle. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I keep myself feeling okay. I wouldn't say feeling good.
Take
but
some practice to play around with that though.
yeah,
right?
you've got to know your body. You've got to, but I've been doing this kind of thing for years. I know myself pretty well.
Yeah.
So I know how I can do those type of things. But that's what I'm teaching to my clients. I'm teaching them what I know about how to run a race. Everything I know, I just give to people.
Well, it's obviously working for you to get sub 4 minutes in kilometre pacing in HYROX. I think most people would take that.
Well, we've done really well. Like the last HYROX race, we had about 48 competitors coming from my gym, and we smashed it. We won the men's fastest overall. We won the female doubles fastest overall. Mm-hmm. We got the winner in the men's under 24 fastest. Winner in the men's 40 to 44 fastest. We were just getting like
it must
wins.
It must help as well, though, Sean. Obviously, you know, with the KO8 facility. So anyone who's based in Dubai, you know, strongly urge you if you are looking to train for HYROX, you know, to definitely do a session or two down there for sure. Is the outside running, like in the heat, even if it's not scorching, but just to run outside in the heat. I think it's a bit more realistic to the actual HYROX because, you know, I said this the other day to our coaches. I've said it to many people. Even doing a track run as opposed to a treadmill run is totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different. I don't care how fast you can run on a treadmill. It's a totally different ballgame when you're not getting something that's dragging you along at a certain pace. It's not working the same muscles. It doesn't work your hamstrings as much, in my opinion. Your glutes, hip extension.
Yeah, it's a different feel. And if you're on an assault runner, it's a different feel.
Yeah.
You're developing a lot more hamstring, track run, concrete running. A lot of the arenas are concrete.
Yes.
People are practicing on treadmill. It's a factor.
Yeah.
Heat is a factor.
Yeah.
Like your body temperature and managing your body temperature.
Yeah.
Because body temperature and fatigue is completely linked. It's one of the things that will fatigue or bring the onset of fatigue. So we're training in the heat all the time. When we get into the arena, it's cool. So
Yeah. And then how much? Just lastly, mate. How much running do you do a week? I know there's different types of running, but approximately how much running would you do a week on a typical training week? Not 2 weeks out from a HYROX, but like, I don't know, say you're 4, 5, 6 weeks out. How much a typical running across a calendar week would you do?
I think I'd hit one zone 2 run, which is slower and steady. I'll cover about 12 kilometers on that one. Just an easy pace. Then with the compromise running, on my training sessions, it can be anywhere from 4K to 8K in a session. So I would say, you know, it can be, what's that, 20, 30 to, it's not a lot compared to, it's like, no, I think if I really want to progress in the sport,
I need to... Do you do any interval work?
Yeah, interval work that is included in that. So like I say, today, my 4 times 400, 10 times 400, that's 4K for the session. Yeah. So, but I won't do any more. Some people are doing double sessions and they're increasing the volume there.
I understand that, but this is what I'm fascinated by, and I know you got to test and see, but I don't believe more is always better.
I don't. I think you need to listen to yourself, and when you don't feel like your body can handle it, I don't think it's productive to thrash yourself. I think you need to understand how do you feel when you wake up? How recovered do you feel? How your muscles feel? How your joints feel?
How stressed you feel?
How stressed you feel? They're all factors, and I am selfish in a way with that. If I've got a program and I've got to follow it, if I don't feel like I can handle it, I will scale it back, or I'll skip it.
Yeah, I need to learn from that, by the way.
I'll take a day off.
I need to learn from that.
Mate, we're getting on, aren't we? We
So,
need to protect ourselves.
So Chris, my osteo yesterday, and we got a new protocol we're working through on that.
Yeah.
So it's okay to say no and have a day off every now and then.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. It's one of those things, isn't it? You've got to be smart with what you're doing, taking all the factors in. You've got business to run, you've got family to run, you've got clients to coach. Like it can be a lot. So to go and absolutely destroy yourself, take yourself to the limit,
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's worth it.
No. I'll tell you, put up a great post. We'll wrap this up now. So to squeeze it out, Graham Holiday, the Scottish boy, I like his stuff, really good guy. And he put a post up saying that he only trains like 5 days a week now, and that includes a zone 2. And he's like, he's gone through the periods of training twice a day, doing every session at 70%, but sort of not ever feeling like you're getting anywhere. And I think there's something in that, I really do. And it all depends, of course, on the harder you train, how much can you recover. And by all means, for some people, training twice a day most days, that may work if you have nothing else to think about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you have nothing else to think about, and you can, do all your saunas, your massages, your MOT, see your physios 3 times a week, then 8 hours sleep a day, then you might be able to do that. But even then, it's...
Well, what you've just said is you hit the nail on the head. If you can recover from that, then that's okay. But if you can't recover from it, it's counterproductive. So you need to focus on recovery just as much as you're focusing on your training program. It's just as important. If you're in this perpetual state of being not recovered, it's not good for you. You're gonna crash and burn.
Well, your KPI of whether or not you've recovered enough is, are you getting faster, are you getting better? And if you're not, then it's probably a sign that something's quite hard.
Yeah.
Right. Lastly, mate, what's the mission moving forward for Sean, KO8, the gym? What's the driver now?
The mission for me in my head is, I want to create this like hub, this wellness. Yeah, I think hub is the word, where I've got all of the tools that I believe one should have. We can bring it all together in one location where people can come in and get everything they need, whether it's really good coaching, really good training, recovery tools and strategies are there, education's there, good food is there, and it's all located on one site. So that's what I'm working on. Growing the business and growing the brand will always be the case. We're now moving into to schools now, back in the UK, where we're helping like the younger kids come through.
Brilliant.
That are starting their pathway into health and fitness, because it's different now. I think growing up my age, or when we were growing up, no one really aspired to be a coach or a trainer.
No, it's true.
Not really.
No, it's true. Yeah.
They would rather be the athlete.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot of kids that have found motivation in wanting to become, a coach that helps people, an online coach.
Especially if they are that kid at school that maybe isn't quite the best in the football team or the best at the athletics.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't be an unbelievable coach.
Yeah. Some coaches have got really good lifestyles with what they're doing, the amount of clients they've got, the value that they're offering. So we're going to try and help that younger generation. We've done that a couple of times in the last couple of years, where we've actually brought the students over from the UK, put them in the environment with us at KO8 in Dubai, and give them a taste for what it's like. So it's been great. The feedback's been fantastic, and that's what we'll try and do. Try and again just carve out pathways where we can help them make less mistakes, accelerate their progress by doing things that we did wrong. Like what you're doing with your clients. You're essentially giving them a blueprint to fast track results.
Yeah, bypass the mistakes.
And
the lack of knowledge we didn't have.
I think there's great value in that. So yeah, our site there is perfect for HYROX. I think there's a big appetite for it, and I personally love it. It's given me that competition fire again, which I've always had growing up. for 7 years, there was no competition for me here in Dubai. It was just training for training's sake, but there was no competition.
Yeah.
So this is like competition's back. So I feel like I used to feel as an athlete again.
Yeah.
So just having that spice has brought a lot of energy to the facility. So yeah, I would love to make it almost like the pinnacle of hybrid training or HYROX training, functional training in our area in the city. So people can always come down and rely that they're going to get good quality coaching. We can really help them. We can really educate them. And we do things a little bit different. We deep dive a little bit more than most.
Lovely. Awesome. Mate, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
So much value in this. Where can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Sean Clancy _KO8. Our facility is KO8 Fitness. Our main company account is KO8 Fitness, and our new project is House of HYROX. So if you want to follow our HYROX project, that's the one to go to.
Awesome. Listen, I'll be seeing lots of your gym and facility, get my ass kicked.
Yep.
But thank you so much. Please check out Sean. So much value, amazing energy. Thank you so much, Sean. And guys, I'll see you next time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Legend. Thank you.